Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. First of all, I would like to thank Professor Jamal Balkhadir and his team for inviting me for this important conference. I'm not talking, I'm going to talk about Qatar only, I'm going to talk about the Gulf region. So bear me for a lot of figures regarding the diabetes in the Gulf. So where is it? Yeah. Okay. As I tell you that, I'm going to talk about the 6 countries in the GCC countries. So it consists about 6: Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, and Bahrain, Qatar, UAE, and Oman. The 6 countries is the highest of the diabetes in the MENA region, and all this to show you their populations. For example, Bahrain is 100.1 million, and Qatar about 2.3 million, and I think the Saudi Arabia is the one is with the high populations is about 29 million. So the total of the populations about in the GCC countries about 50.5 million. I think diabetes in the world is a challenge for globally. So now I think in our regions also I think one of the most that's in the top list of IDF in the prevalence rate, and as this show you that the number of the diabetes in the world is increasing. So this is in 2015 will be 415 million. That will be increased in 2040. This will be about 642 million. So there's increasing globally of the number of the diabetics. So this slide show you the prevalence rate in the Gulf Cooperation countries. So UAE about 14.6%, Bahrain is 15%, and Oman is 19%, Qatar is 13%, and Saudi Arabia is about 17%. This is according to the Atlas, but in my opinion, this is not the right numbers. There's a lot of increasing. For example, in my country, in 2012, the prevalence is about 16.7, according to the stepwise survey that we did last year. I think in Saudi Arabia, maybe Dr. Khalid Al-Rubain is here, I think it's more than 26% in Saudi Arabia. This show you the national GCC countries, the age from 20 to 79. So this is increasing every year. There's increasing, and according to the surveys of different of the GCC countries, it depends. Some of them they are every 5 years. Some they don't continue doing the survey or national survey in their country. So, but still there is increasing in the number of the diabetics in these countries. So, so what it stands in the Gulf countries? The growing of the burden of diabetes, the quality of care, the health and economic impact, and also the local efforts to combat diabetes. This is the challenge that we are facing now in GCC countries. So this is show you the prevalence of diabetes in Middle East and Africa. I think maybe Dr. Nazar will talk about this one, so I will accept that one. And as mentioned, that the prevalence of diabetes in the Gulf cooperations is also increasing. This is also the number of the people with diabetes in 2015. So in Bahrain now the number is 145,300 from the populations of 1.3 million, And for example, in Qatar is about 239,000 diabetic patients compared to the 2.3 million of the populations. The one is, as you see, that in Saudi Arabia is the most is more in the number because of the number of the population in Saudi Arabia. It's about 3.4 million diabetes patients in Saudi Arabia from their 29 million of the populations. So in total, now in GCC country, we have 5.6 million diabetic patients from 50 million of population. The type 1 in GCC countries, I think as these all these figures tell you that the number in Saudi Arabia is the most of the country they are suffering from type 1 patients. The GDM is not it's same in the global. I mean, if you're comparing that globally, so in Oman is 4.2, and in United Arab Emirates about 24. Qatar is about 16.3. Bahrain is 10, and Saudi Arabia is from 2.7% to 12.5%. Many times when I just show these figures about diabetes in the Gulf, they said why Oman is always the less of the number of the diabetes in GDM or in type 1 or in type 2. Oman is I think they are not suffering from what the other 5 countries suffering. For example, the lifestyle is still not changed in Oman, and also they are the physical activity is increasing in Oman because they don't have many cars that we have in Qatar or in the 5 countries. So they are less rich than the 5 countries in the Gulf area. The prevalence of the pre-diabetes, as shown that still Oman is the less one, and the most one usually as usual is Saudi Arabia, is about 11.3%. Why does this region have much rapidly growing prevalence of diabetes? So that's why type 2 diabetes. That way we get if you comparing that one in 80s, and then in 19 point in the year 1908, and then go to the 2000, see what's the changes happened in I will show you that one. So this is what's happening in 2000 in 19.8 in 1908, and then what's happening in 2010 and 12 and 16. So this is a lot of changes happen in our lifestyle, and that is the main reason of increasing of the prevalence in diabetes. So also we want to talk about the physical activities as show this in this slide. So still Saudi Arabia is the one is less in physical activities comparing to the others countries. In physical activities, this is that we have did in 2012 stepwise collaboration with the WHO. So that's what the figures that we get. I don't want to go to all these figures, but this is what we get in 2012 regarding the physical activities. So the physical inactivity and the prevalence of diabetes in MENA countries is still increasing. So go to Tunisia, Iran, Algeria, and then you just go up to Saudi Arabia and Kuwait. That is our country in GCC country. Always is increasing in the in physical inactivities. The adult overweight So Qatar is come because it's the richest one. So now we are suffering from the overweight is about 78% that are suffering from the overweight. Regarding the obesity, now we are 42% is suffering from obesity in Qatar. So then the Oman, still I don't know why Oman now is 75, even they are active, but still I can't give the reasons of that. Even when we ask our colleague in Oman, they don't have the reason why they are increasing in overweight about 75 and obesity is 40. Maybe it's a different data that they get it. This is the obesity and BMI and risk of diabetes. So whenever there is a BMI and the BMI is increasing, the risk of getting diabetes is high. So that's we have it. Regarding the health impact of diabetes, so it's the different as you see that is in the death and the stroke and the dental ARSD and other complications. Then the complication of diabetes in countries, about nephropathy is about 30.4%. Nephropathy is about 34%. Retinopathy is 29%. The complications in Qatar, as you see that in this slide, the retinopathy is about 360%, and the cardiovascular is about 18.4%, and the nephropathy is about 27%. This is the communication in those countries. The nephropathy is between 27% to 61%. For example, UAE in microalbuminuria is about 61%. Bahrain is 31%, is the less one. The communication diabetes in countries is about this is the system of the 60,000. Then in Dr. Rubi'an and his colleagues, it's come to about 3.3. For the retinopathy in Saudi Arabia is 29.7, and in UAE is about 19%. This is also the relative mortality. I don't want to go to that, but it is according to the WHO in 2014, it's between 3 to 14%. The quality of diabetes of the care, the glycemic control is about only 22%. In patients achieve a mean of HbA1c about less than 7.0, according to the Harbi, and in the Gulf cohort mean about NC about 9.4. This according to the Najjar. Glycemic controls in ONC between 2003 about 14 to 24%. In 2010 to 2030 about between 21 to 35%. The cost of diabetes care in the GCC countries, Saudi Arabia is the one that is cost a lot of money. Is about 17 billion they spend riyals for treating diagnosing diabetes. For example, in Qatar we spend about 3,200,000 annually per patient. This is the cost of the in Qatar. This is the cost of diabetes in care in GCC countries. The policy and initiatives, it's a lot of policy now come. And then there is in Oman and also Qatar and Saudi Arabia. In Qatar, we start with to do the strategies for the preventions in Qatar. We start in 2018 the first national survey for diabetes, also in Saudi Arabia. So in summary, economic booming in GCC countries has been associated with the emergence of diabetes as a major problem. This region is on the top of the rapid growth of diabetes burden. Effective strategies are needed for preventive diabetes, improve detections and treatment of the patients. Promotion of healthy lifestyles is very important to have it. And then thank you very much.